Hey guys, Chad Trades here. In this video, I want to go over my #1 rule for using stop losses while day trading. So I can't tell you how many times where I'm in a trade, I get stopped out and then the trade ends up running up to where I originally wanted it to. And as you know, that is a really frustrating situation. It still happens to me once in a while, but ever since I started implementing this one rule, it hardly ever happens to me. So that being said, I'm going to be going over that along with the trade recap from the trade I took today. So hopefully you can get some free value and education out of this video. All right, so like I said, I want to talk about stop losses today. I have a good example of kind of how I use stop losses based on my trade I took today. So let's just first go over the trade I took today. So as you can see, we're just going to go to performance. I'm going to press go. As you can see, we made $843 today. So that was our total P&L. I only took one trade. So if we go inside my trading software, this is my P&L if you don't count any commissions. And I was trading the micro ES. Okay, so I trade futures for those of you that don't know. And as we can see, let's just kind of go over what my trade looked like. If we zoom out here, you can see I bought around 17 contracts. I was basically buying down here in this zone and selling up here on these tops. So the first thing I'll do is I'll pull up my Discord community where I post my pre-market plan every single day, along with exactly where I'm entering and exiting trades inside our market update. So anyways, as we can see, today's plan was basically, if we start to show strength at this key level of 41.35 to 25, I'd like to play long targeting 41.47 high day break and then 41.72 supply. Okay, and if we go inside the market updates, I'm going to go where I actually got into the trade. So as you can see, right when the market opened, this is 3 minutes after the market opened where I live. So I'm going to start building a long position down here. My stop will be below 4,027. So again, this is what I want to talk about. Where did I get that level? And then with a target of the 40.47 high day break. So as we can see, if I move myself, this is what the trade looked like today. This is what the chart looked like today. So we basically sold off all night once we got to this key level of 41.47. And, we sold off in pre-market, and then the market opened up right around here where you see all this volume started to kick in. So basically I was starting to add into my position right here. And since I trade with a lot of contracts because I'm trading the micro ES, so I was able to have 17 contracts at one time, I'm kind of averaging into my position. So I slowly average in here, but the bulk of my position I actually got, down when we started dropping, way down here. So anyways, let me go back here. This was this right here where we started dropping down into this 30 range, this 28 range. So again, what I want to talk about in this lesson is how do you put your stop losses? How do you know where to put your stop losses, right? So for me, what I always do, and this is going to be different depending on what stock you're trading. I like to trade ES. This is the only thing I trade. I like to focus on one thing. And for me, I know that, sure, you can put your stop loss below this level. We hit this in pre-market. And this is what most retail traders, most beginners will do. And, this is kind of what happens when you're like, okay, I'll just put my stop, right below this, this low right here. Well, what happens when you do that is, a lot of algorithms will try to basically trick retail traders into getting stopped out, right? And then chasing the trade higher. So really what I'm saying here is you need your trade some room to breathe, okay? So what I like to do is, let's say my stop loss was gonna be below this level, okay? So let me move myself once again. It was gonna be below, 41.33. This is that low, okay? So what I always do is I put my stop loss 5 points below the low or 5 points above the high. Okay, so what's 5 points? If you're wondering, when I entered this trade, where did I get 27? Well, what's 32 minus 5? So 32 is the low, and I have my stop at 27, which is 5 points below. Okay, so this is how I get my stop losses. This ensures that I'm gonna let my trade breathe a little bit. Okay, the other thing that this does for me is this helped me get better entries, right? Because for me, if I was going to buy, way up here, my full position, not only would I have to risk, all these points right here, but I'd also have to risk another 5 points, right? So This helped me wait for my trades to get better entries. So instead of adding the bulk of my position right here and having my stop way down here, I added the bulk of my position below this low, which means if I'm adding the bulk of my position at, 32 or 29 even, right, I only have to risk a few points. Okay, so kind of see the difference there. So you can see this is clearly a double bottom, but the double bottoms, the double tops, they don't always pan out directly equally, right? Sometimes it'll be, this bottom will be a little bit below, or this bottom can be a little bit above. So you kind of have to plan your stop for that case scenario, because what ends up happening here is you see how price wicked up so fast. Well, this is because everyone was getting stopped out right here, right? If you had your stop loss way out here, that wouldn't happen. So that's my main rule for stop losses. That really helped me a lot to not only get better entries, but to just stop getting faked out, was to give your trade more breathing room. Okay, so for me, I like to do 5 points below or above where that previous high is. Now, if we go back to my trading journal here, you can see once we started getting up into 40, I started taking some contracts off. I started trimming my position, and I finally sold all my position towards 50, where we had this previous resistance level. As you can see, this is my target. I said 40.47 high a day break. So basically that was this right here. This was the pre-market high. As we can see, we broke that pre-market high literally just like 30 minutes ago, where I exited out of my remaining contracts. Now, another question a lot of people have is, where do you put your stop loss once the trade starts going in your favor, right? So once I started trimming these contracts, so basically what I do, like I had 17 contracts. Once I trim like 9 contracts, 8 contracts, basically I have a half position now because I took half profits on it. Then I'll put my stop loss at break even. Okay, so even if I'm trimming some contracts right here at 40, I only trimmed around 5 or 6 contracts down here. So for me, I was still leaving my stop loss way down here, okay, below this wick. So that's another thing I see a lot of beginners do is, once the price goes up, they'll put their stop loss right behind it. But you got to keep in mind, a lot of times price will pull back, you'll get stopped out, and then, you'll have the price go in your favor even more. So you got to be okay with the pullbacks that come into place. So again, I'll leave my stop loss, where it was originally until I trim at least half my position. Then, okay, which was like right around here at this 45, then I'll put my stop loss at break even, which was around 33. That was my average position size. Okay, and from there, I'll just let the trade either stop me out or get to my main target, which was this high a day break where I took all my profits. So anyways, that's my number 1 rule for stop losses while I'm day trading. The main thing you want to take away from this is don't put your stop right below the low or right below the high. Give it some room in case, those algorithms do trigger, because like I said before, the worst thing ever is, getting stopped out and then the trade goes and works in your favor. That will happen regardless sometimes, but using that 5-point rule, at least for me, the way I trade, it's helped me a lot. It's given me a way higher win rate in my trades. And not only that, but also once the price does go in your favor, don't immediately put your stop loss way up there, right? Leave it at your original stop. Leave it at break even, whatever you got to do to let the trade run to your target. That way you can focus on having big winners and small losers. And also guys, if you'd like to copy my exact trades that I take every single day, along with getting a pre-market plan of exactly what I'm looking for, all the key levels on my chart before the market opens, be sure to check out my Discord community. It'll be the first link in the description below, or you can just head over to this link right here. We have a special right now. We just opened this group up where you can get a free 3-day trial where you can test it out risk-free and hopefully make some money in those 3 days and join us from there. So anyways, if you do think you get value out of a group like this and seeing exactly where I'm entering and exiting trades, you can learn more about it in the first link in the description below. With that being said, guys, as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Trade smart, trade safe. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, because I post my trade recaps every single day on this channel and try to keep it as transparent as possible. So anyways, that being said, I will see you tomorrow in my next video with another trade recap and market update.